be helpful if I muted my mic. What's up, YouTube? Happy Sunday. Beautiful weekend this weekend. Hope everyone is doing well. Today we have our second episode of King's Corner podcast, as I think my music obviously dies. Yep. Yeah, it died. It's lovely. It's cool. Can never start the stream correctly the right way. Ever. It's impossible. All right. So welcome everyone. We are joined here today with my man Yurpp from 2293 and the king of 2293, MementoMori. Gentlemen, how are we doing today? So for those who don't know, we actually fought against 2293 for a good amount of the last KVK, Nile KVK, and they kind of, kicked our butts up and down. I really like their setup. I spoke with Memento a little bit here and there, and then obviously Yurpp is a friend of the channel. We were trying to bring more leadership content to the community, I think, even if it may seem like this is on a bit of a downward spiral, which I think we'll maybe try and touch on a little bit too, but really liked what these guys had in 2293. Really good solid fighting core. Gave us a lot of problems on the field, and they do have a reputation as Imperium killers, although this past KVK did not really quite go to that narrative. But again, just want to welcome you guys. Thank you again for coming on. So real quick, some quick intros. If you guys, I don't know who wants to go first, Yurpp or Memento.
And yeah, we've been riding for a while. Big fan of this stream too, and Dan and his kingdom too. Had a lot of fun with them. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, Mori, just 2293 council for a while, as well as in our previous kingdom, 1723. Been with SIP for quite a long time. Yeah, that's basically it. Didn't really find out about Dirty Dan until this previous KVK. And, I mean, I like what I see with it. I like how chill it is. Especially when you get drunk and shit when you're doing that.
I was gonna say you don't have to be candid, but since you threw in the drunk bit there, I was like, okay, I think he's being a little genuine. So you mentioned that you were in 1723 beforehand. How long have you guys each been playing?
I think we actually started at the same time, Maury.
We did.
Because we were looking at our marksmans together, like going and seeing. I think ours are like the same day, like a few hours apart.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
there was like 3 or 4 of us in the same call, and we figured that out. We were like, "What the fuck?" Like all of us started like the same fucking day.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was 1,358 days to be exact. With like,
Yeah.
1,358, and I'm at 1161 on this account. Okay, so you guys started around that 1,700 mark, I'm assuming then?
15.
1,500 kingdom range. Okay.
It was in a different kingdom than him at beginning. Our kingdom had like a KVK1 mega 200 mil whale that was just going around killing everybody.
Yeah.
A core group of mine like left before KVK1, joined up with Mori in that kingdom, and then I ended up actually fighting against Mori in like petty squabble KVK2 bullshit, and then
Yeah, it was funny.
I ended up getting zeroed on live stream from Chisgua. I didn't know who the hell he was at the time, but
oh shit.
I was like a little 10 mil account, like throwing stones at Mori City and shit, and ended up coming in. And
yeah, 1507 was kind of wild.
Yeah, that was my first Civil War, or second Civil War too. It was like back to back, and it almost made me quit the game.
Oof, yeah.
Yeah, 1507 it was really, really rocky. 1507 is where I started. Yurpp came in. Did you come in before KVK1?
I think it was after KVK1. I think.
Because we went into KVK1. We were doing okay, and then something sparked off. We had a civil war during KVK, and then we said, okay, well, we'll just finish it later. And we go out, and then we win KVK1, and then we come back and we were fine. So that was crazy.
And then the civil war that happened that ultimately made us leave.
Yeah.
We had a group that just didn't want to fight in KVK2.
Yep.
And then SIP was like the only dumbasses that just wanted to keep going, basically defying the other alliance that was in the kingdom. And then I was like, me and my crew were like, yeah, let's keep fighting. Fuck, stopping. We're not going to give up and save for the next KVK. And SIP was just like defiant that whole time. They were just like, nah, we're going to keep going. And then it just turned into a civil war.
Yep. And then
one team didn't want to play anymore, and then the other one wanted to keep going. So I stayed with SIP after that and been rocking it ever since.
I like that dynamic too. Like I think you're seeing that a little bit more often too, especially now where the game's going. I think of just alliances sticking with each other and you're having these like full migrations. Something that was like kind of like approached to me from 875. Like they had asked me like before any fighting even started, like they're just going based purely off of our stats. And he was like, Abu was like, hey, I want you guys in our kingdom. And I was like, thanks for the offer. But like in the back of my head, I'm like, we haven't even fought yet. Like you don't even know what we can do. Like we could just be like farm killers or something like that,
No.
But like I like that, how it's like, you find an alliance, you kind of stick with them, and if they pick up and bounce into a kingdom, you just kind of you go with them. It's not like
that's what we did too.
I feel like Rise of Kingdoms is kind of losing the allure of the name, like a little bit. Like it's no longer about kingdom building, and I think there's some points that we'll touch on a little bit later with like some of the format changes and KVK matchups and stuff, but it doesn't seem like it's a kingdom server builder anymore. It's more like you build a community of friends or of this alliance, and then you just find a shell to go into.
Meet a lot of other good friends from other alliances and kind of just try to get people all in one kingdom together, groups of fighters and stuff. And that was like, that's what really hooked me into the game was all the friends we were making, the community. All right, we got this project, we're going to this next kingdom. After our civil war, we ended up going to 17, I think it was 1723 after that, right, Maury? Or did we do that invasion?
We did the invasion, and then we'll skip the invasion. We went to
yeah, let's not talk about that.
whoa! Wait, whoa! You saying invasion? This is spicy. I think chat might want to hear about this too, yo.
It was years ago.
That's where we met our good friend Ghost, and great friend. He actually just recently quit, but we met him and his crew in a KVK, and we tried to do an invasion where there was a D kingdom, bro, and we just flew all in at that time, like 200 people. We had good friends that had like 10 alliances and shit.
Oh my god.
Had like all the little alliances and all the zone ones, and we just flooded the. I think at that time too, there was the system message to whoever joined the kingdom would get a the whole kingdom would get a notification. We tricked the king into like open it up for one person, and like 200 messages are just like instant like drop. And we just got in there, dog fight all the way. It was a Korean kingdom at that time.
Even better.
And they just started calling in everybody to get into that kingdom. And every time there was people staying up all night just like spamming the join button. Because there was no like acceptance button. All you did was just raise the cap, and it was fair game. Anybody can get in. And we were just throwing it down. I got zeroed in that KVK too. Shit, for that team. Recorded next to Maury, and then I was like, yeah, let's do this. And he's like, don't take that rally. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna bubble. And my dumbass scouted the rally, and then like right before it hit, it got wrecked.
Dude, an invasion sounds really fun. Like if you get like guys in chat, like if you get bored of Rise of Kingdoms, just do what these guys did and go for an invasion, because that sounds fucking awesome, yo.
We got pretty far too. Like we were at the Lost Temple, like rallying it and everything. So
Yeah, one more T5 player could have done it, but like looking back on it, like the kingdom building and alliance building that you need to do to run a successful kingdom, like that's not really a good place to start off. Like the kingdom is like totally destroyed.
yeah, no. And then we moved to 1723, and that was
fell apart.
well, I mean that's where we have like a lot of our core group from, like leadership too.
Okay.
A lot of really good people.
I'd say majority of that kingdom that we built was old leadership and ex kings, XR4s. Like we really put a lot of people in that knew what they were doing. Great team in that kingdom.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very similar to what we have here, and which kind of segues me into a quick question, because he was part of council. He just recently kind of stepped down, but you guys had played against MC Archer, or played with him?
Against them, yeah.
Against him, yeah. He had mentioned a few times. I think you guys spanking him around a few times. But yeah, I mean, he was one of our former kings. Philly Boy is another former king. Shit, now I'm fucking losing track of who else we had, but we had at least 3 or 4. And then obviously the experienced R4s and all that stuff definitely really helps when it comes to, your kingdom build up and your kingdom management and whatnot. Again, I'm not really trying to make this super interviewy, but I guess getting a little bit of formalities out of the way a little bit. How do you guys like have your kingdom leadership set up? Like, I know we were chatting a little bit before we hopped on, and you had mentioned council. So like with being a kind of top tier A seed, taking down some Imperium kingdoms and fighting against Imperiums a fair amount. What does your guys' leadership structure look like?
So it goes council and then R4. And then there are some like kind of trainee R4 and then just regular alliance members. It's not a very intricate structure. And then we have a war council that kind of sidebars off that is activated when we go on a KVK. But yeah, it's a pretty generic structure. It's mostly held up because people are just pretty solid where they're at.
Got you. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what we have here too. It's, pretty simple and basic. Try not to, I think when you try to overcomplicate things, it just leaves a lot of room for error. Just real quick, I want to quick shout out to Ghostly God for the $2 donations. Clear Comms Europe, and then also Mori promote our force. And then
Clear Comms, yeah.
Also, Lambo, thank you for being a member of the Dirty Gang for 2 months. Interesting stat for you. Only 6.93% of the 1024 OL matches today were won by 10k points or less.
Really? Huh.
I'd say that our leadership in this kingdom is again, like our 1723, we brought a lot of that leadership over here, and then we just Max is one of our longtime R4s. He decided we wanted to do a restart and go back to KVK2 again. This is like we did 1723, a couple of wins in SOCs, but by the second Crystal Tech pop, like the brand new Crystal Tech, like our core group was leaving. Like everybody was going to do their own thing, so we said, fuck it, we're going to do a big migration from 1723 to go back and get away from Crystal Tech, because we didn't want to lose a lot of our depth. So we got ahead of that, and we brought the best from that kingdom to here. The same structure. Max set it up from a KVK1 and KVK2. We all migrated in with the same blueprint from that kingdom to this kingdom. Brought the leadership over, all the council stuff, leadership, the way it's supposed to be set up, titles, diplomacy, KVK war team, the whole thing. So, I mean, it's a lot of work for sure. We all know that. So we definitely have like kind of a medium-sized team, and we just spread the the work around for sure.
Huge shout out to Max for pulling that weight for the KVK1, KVK2 setup. That's
Yeah, he went in. He doesn't let us forget.
Yeah, he still doesn't let us forget.
Yeah, dude, that's a lot of weight to throw around, yo. That's like
It is.
that's so hardcore, man. Like people, like my buddy Ray always like messes with me because I started playing another city builder, this Viking game, and when there was a few of us that were starting it up, and he was like, "Dude, do a jumper." I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm never doing a jumper ever again. That's the worst thing. Like it's so much work." And then when you add in like the risk of, you know, civil wars and takeovers, like what happened to me and KVK2, like I literally almost cried. Like I was like, I put in so much fucking work into this thing for the past like 6 months, and to see it like almost crumble in a matter of a few hours, like really got to me, you know?
Oh, for sure. I could not imagine going back and doing it over again. Like, no.
No, now we'll just go and invade a kingdom together, if anything.
9 months, 9 months of rebuilding and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, yeah, it's crazy. All those, you know, shells that you have to go. And, like, I mean, that's just a nightmare on its own, right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is definitely an experience. I would say I've had a lot of fun doing that whole, you know, KVK1 all the way to SOC, go back, and then KVK2, 3. I definitely enjoyed it, but like I enjoy fighting a lot more now. So I would say staying here versus going back and doing it all over again.
Even with the new changes and having access to SOC commanders, and I think was it KVK3 now they're giving it?
Yeah, even with the new changes.
Okay.
I mean, we had that in our KVK3 where you could use SOC commanders. I think on our second walkthrough they changed it, but they left, like Xeno just came out when we went back, and we literally handcuffed our KVK3 with Zenith. Like nobody could do shit. Like one dude had it, and he came in, and we just like walked across everywhere just because they couldn't take us out.
Yeah, Xeno was just that strong at that time.
Yeah, I remember the meta Xeno days is reminiscent of the meta Attila days, which I just had kind of missed because I took a break and I heard about this new commanders as I was coming back in and starting this account up. But even we got a little bit of a taste of it too, like when I was initially started. So you guys actually probably experienced that Attila meta where like you couldn't do anything against Attila. There was no combos to defeat it.
The closest thing you had was Charles and Constantine. And even then, it's you couldn't swarm the rally down or anything. Or even so, like back then, swarming wasn't even a thing. Swarm became more relevant in SOC with Crystal Tech and with Bastion skills. People just started hitting stuff.
Yeah, how do you guys feel on the on the siege of Orleans, and that which makes it seem like swarming is more OP than ever? And kind of the troubles that 254 had with it, because I know that was something that they were, you know, kind of laying their hats on, of like the difficulties that they were having, obviously because due to some of the inactivity that they were having, but you know, I guess it looks like Siege of Orleans is just insanely swarm meta.
Yes.
I don't think you guys have played Siege of Orleans yet, right?
Not yet.
We've talked a lot about it though.
Yeah, you need depth with a bunch of commanders, because in Siege of Orleans, basically all your commanders are in play at that point, and there's going to be a lot of them that are benched. And if you just don't have the players with those commanders in general, like there's going to be nothing that they can do, and they're just going to get destroyed by whales who have all of these extra stats and abilities. To where that bridge is just going to be longer between them.
I'm on the same point with Mori too, and I would even go a step further and say, like, I mean, majority of both of our kingdoms, like majority of all of the players don't even have the first gen, you know, legendary commanders maxed or even close to max. So, I mean, they're missing out on a lot of fucking value. And I mean, it's as soon as that Zone 6 opens, it's like 30 days. You know, you're fighting to the very end of KVK. So I mean, that's a lot of stress on a kingdom. It's not for the weak, for sure. And the swarming is crazy.
Yeah, it seems like Warriors Unbound is probably the little bit friendlier mode when it comes to you know, I guess the newer player base, because I think it's just one artifact, and I think you could probably, can you swap it? I'm not even sure.
I don't think you can. I haven't heard of someone doing it.
No, no, I don't think you can because there's a lot of people. I think whose stream was I just watching? Aren't you in that KVK? Didn't we talk about this, Dan?
A little bit, yeah. That my 960 account.
Oh yeah, that one. Well, I think you mentioned too, like a lot of the guys didn't use their artifact because you know I think the new archer commanders just came out, so they were waiting to see if that was going to be like, because they can only get like one shot. So I'm pretty sure, I could be totally wrong though.
Yeah, no, it looks like Chad is even saying, some of them too, that the once you pick the artifact, it's locked. So yeah, that makes sense that it's like, you know, so it is definitely friendlier to the newer player base, because you don't need all these, you know, all the extravagant commanders for the extra skills and all that stuff. It's really more or less for the rally and garrison leads, to try and get a little bit playful. And I think I even just saw the Seawill video of Nevsky Henry actually putting in some really nice work on I think it was a Jan Hera or something. So definitely a little bit more playful for the rally and garrison leads. But Siege of Orleans definitely looks dope. I think maybe in a few KVKs that's something to go after, but I think you really need to have a lot of developed accounts to go into there, to, you know, not even to compete, but just to have fun. I guess they go kind of hand in hand. Yeah. You know, you don't want to just be getting stomped, especially like you were saying, if you don't have that depth, you know. I'm surprised it's not on this pop-up actually.
Yeah, which one are you gonna pick?
Oh god,
asking for a friend.
So all right, so it was on our agenda of sorts too anyway. So this is the public announcement that 2581 is going to A-Seed. So we are open for recruitment. We will not be going into A-Seed this KVK. Our intention was to take a recovery, and anyone who wants to throw my kingdom's reputation on the mat, they can go fuck themselves, because we've killed ourselves for 5 KVKs straight. Like, I don't know a better way to put it. If literally from KVK 1 all the way to here, like there's now a small percentage of native players that are with us, but even still, I mean, I've been getting my ass kicked since KVK 2, and when I brought my account here. So like, our intention is to take a recovery, or we are taking a recovery. Now, we had a discussion about this today. And I had plans pretty much set. So now we're going to have to go back in and maybe discuss some things. But my intention was to do Heroic Anthem, because I believe from a territory standpoint, that is the best map that you can pick to take a pure recovery KVK. And I'm going to go on to a Warriors Unbound, because this is something that I want to dive into as well, like with this whole leadership thing, getting into like territory talks and like, you know, kind of tactical things here and there. And I definitely learned some things from you guys, like tactician wise as well, and even just discussing with you, Yurpp, a few times. But that was one of the other main reasons why I wanted to bring you guys on, because I know that you guys have solid strategy and all that. So my reasoning for taking a Heroic Anthem is because you have the best opportunity to take a recovery. You don't have to fight in zone 5. You flag out zone, as long as you lock up one camp ally. Okay, this is the preface here. As long as you lock up one camp ally, because now in zone 6 you only have to worry about one side. You flag out the zone and you just fort drop, and you can fucking back for it. You don't even have to defend them. Really, you maybe defend them a few times with some farms, and that's it. And then we're going to go into Kingsland and then ball out. So we were doing a recovery KVK, but to an extent that we were going to get into Kingsland and not, you know, we're still going to fight. We didn't want to ruin a KVK for anyone. No. And we're still going to take our shot at trying to get some rewards and whatnot. Now, Heroic Anthem's not here. Thank you, Ray. Because I asked my buddy Ray, I'm like, yo, Heroic Anthem pops every time, right? He's like, yeah, it should. It's the you know, the first KVK that people have to do.
It should.
So now we have to go back in and maybe we take another skip. I don't know. Because we discussed doing Warriors Unbound for a recovery, but if you look at the map, I mean, here I'm looking at the 1093 and 307 kvk. Like 307,
You're past fighting, yeah.
well, the 1093 pushed through. Now 307 might
Yeah.
not even make it into Kingsland, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, there's more of a risk when you go into a Warriors Unbound for not being able to be as laid back and chill. So now it's or Warriors Unbound. I really don't want to do another King of the Nile, even if they change it up a little bit. I don't think a lot of Go ahead.
It looks like the timeline was changed on the Nile part. I was reading a little bit of it because it just popped for Pioneer. But that Warriors Unbound, I mean, it does look interesting. I would like to do it, but I think it depends on who's going in. Same thing with, you know, Nile, you know, and if you're going in as an A, there's potentially going to be Imperiums. I mean, we saw that in our last KVK, but I mean, it really depends. I mean, you guys are wanting to say C, but I mean, it's very difficult to do that with the power drop that's going on right now. And we've had this conversation too, where it's like, well, we need to decide, do we want to be like a B, or do we want to go high A? Because there's no real in between. I mean, it's very difficult to like hold it down. So now, I mean, we're in a position where you either need to, you know, try to stay super low A, or you just go straight to Imperium, because I mean, now you're in B's and C's are getting screwed over, getting matched up and put in with A kingdoms that are, or Imperiums, and it's just like totally unfair. So
Yeah.
But I mean, the Heroic Anthem, that would have been a really good call, and I even thought of doing that too. Like, I thought that was a good play. Take it as a recovery. I mean, we've talked about doing recoveries, but it's kind of, you know, it's not always looked on nicely. People don't really like that idea.
Yeah.
The idea
People
behind
come here to fight.
Yeah, you want to take if you're gonna do a recovery KVK, it needs to be your first pop. And if it's not something that's optimal, then it's not really.
Yeah.
Because then after that, you got too much downtime.
And here's
people leave after that.
Here's a little leadership tidbit too for those who have a setup with like how we have, and I'll kind of admit I fucked up. We had the opportunity to take first pop, and we went into a council meeting and kind of were split a little bit. I guess I can say is the nice way of putting it. I definitely had an opportunity to put my foot down and say, no, we're going to register now. And here we are. No, you know, I'm not perfect.
It was a good experience.
Yeah.
It was a good experience, right?
Yeah. So like now I know, you know, because we have that ability and that setup here, you know, where there is that kind of truer hierarchy, where if I make a call, that's what we're gonna do, you know. And I should have kind of went with my gut, and I think we were being a little bit too, you know, democratic in a sense, and kind of turned out to burn me a little bit here now. So now we're gonna have to go in and discuss and figure out a game plan going forward.
Nile might still be something for you guys. I mean, it might be less than ideal, but they've configured it to where it's 3 A's and 3 B's, to where every A is going to have a B, and they're also making it allies too. So they had to have redone the map to an extent to where you're located somewhere else. So, and they've also made some of the passes open sooner, so you get contention earlier.
Okay.
Might be worth a look.
Okay, so
I mean, you've done it now, so you've got the experience of what, you know, you don't need to flag out that whole zone again like you did. It ain't worth it.
Yeah.
You stressed yourself out on that one.
So
I watched that. That was great.
Oh man. So yeah, map layout looks, I think, the same-ish. I mean, at least the one that I'm looking at here.
Get the map up.
Yeah, if you go into the rules, there's the camp though on the last tab, camp system. It looks like they have it looks the same, I think. But like you said, I know that
Nile is one of my favorite maps, I would say. I definitely put it above Siege of Orleans.
Maybe they have like
probably
a Diplo part where you can teleport over. I don't know. That
would be broken.
Yeah, that would be broken.
I gotta say, I really love the seasonal strategies. I think that they should put that in every KVK mode, because like the buffs weren't crazy. Like the that one buff for the burning like thingy, Great Conqueror that we had in our last Nile was fucking awesome. Like if you get a really long rally on a fort, and then like next thing you know, like you catch a burn on the fort, next thing you know that fort is gone. Like you can really catch some people off guard like that, you know?
Oh yeah.
Aggression was good too. It was a good incentive to like go out there and fight and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the matchmaking too, to a certain degree. So it's a good map. Everybody gets to fight everybody pretty much, kind of balanced a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
A little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Dude, your guys' population, like I remember when we did our second ruins fight, and we'll kind of go into a little bit of our last KVK review since we're kind of talking about Nile now. But yes, we're 2581's going to AC. We're open for recruitment, so hit me up, hit Morningstar up, MIB up. Quick plug. We are going to be looking for VIP 18 players, Max Tech, Crystal Tech, all that stuff. Think of following a similar blueprint of a 960. Not saying that we are going to try and become the next 960, but following a blueprint to the success that they have made. So quick plug, we're open for migration. Hit me up. But yeah, man, I mean, I remember that second ruins fight that we had in our King of the Nile KVK against you guys, and the first one was like a nice test. I was like, okay, these guys are pretty legit. And then the second one, we hit you guys on the downtime, and I was like, all right, okay, this is I like this. I like where this is going. And then we go into Alexander the Great zone, that like zone like 5.2 or whatever, and it's just like, here's 2293 and all their people with 5 marches, and I was like, yeah, we're fucked. This is so overwhelming. It's not even funny.
A lot of people don't like going to ruins and altars and stuff like that. They just want to do the big fights and stuff. So not a lot of people do show up.
I personally like it. It's a nice way to kind of warm up and kind of hone your skills. And we were kind of all doing like little contests of who can have like the longest like report, or like the longest like rage hopping like type deal. We had some guys who were staying engaged in battle for like 5-6 minutes, you know, so we're having some like nice friendly competition that way. Trying to get a little bit, not saying that we needed the help for engagement, because I feel like with us being the little guys, we had to kind of prove ourselves against you guys. But you know, maybe something for you guys next KVK, if there's a ruin set up like that, try and see who can get the longest support.
Yeah, especially with Nevsky Joan. That's such a prime march. It's great.
Ruins.
I was having a blast just like targeting one person and then like pulling off like 1-2 like recall, and then like after the Joan skill had hit, and then just knowing I have a second Joan one in my pocket, and like someone gets a little aggressive on me and like tries to pull up, and I just turn around and go pop, and just he's like, oh shit, like I didn't realize he had an extra skill waiting for me, and then he starts to run away. It's very, very satisfying. Go ahead, Yurpp.
Yeah, the fighting and everything that we had, I mean, it was good. You guys held really well in your 5.2 or whatever your field was. You know, you got kind of hit with the wave, but I mean, I like y'all's tactics of using, you know, farms and stuff for everything that was going on. I mean, I was impressed. You guys, you know, took a stand and, you know, kind of let the wave roll over you. It was definitely lopsided. I think we talked like during that time, and I asked like, what was your 300th power player or whatever, and I think you said at the time like 27. I was like, bro, I got like, you know, 68 mil over here. Like we were up there, so it's kind of like we just have like extreme depth. I mean, that's the one thing that we in this kingdom that we, you know, we're doing constantly, or we try to do after every KVK, just focus on depth.
Wow, so that kind of you're sparking something in me now. So I'm looking at our top 300. It's 19.1 million.
Well, we killed a lot of your farmers, so I mean, yeah. You had some high power farms, so we cleared you guys out pretty good.
So what's your guys' 300th power player now?
Let's see.
And you guys are what, 3 alliance kingdom, 3.5? ish.
So we were so it there's some like strategic advantage you get to having 3 alliances, but trying to maintain that while not going Imperium is hard.
Mm-hmm.
And the previous KVK that we had kind of outlined that there is a bit more disadvantages. Plus, with the dynamic that the game's going overall,
Mm-hmm.
that you can't maintain those 3 alliances without going Imperium.
Yeah.
So we've moved to a 2, and
Okay.
we're probably going to keep it there.
So now
we're
it's
getting
just...
ahead of the storm that's
Yep.
coming with, Imperium's potentially breaking apart. So we're getting ahead. I think by not this KVK, but the next KVK, that the 24 million power or 24 billion power, Imperium marker will start dropping quite a bit, and you'll find that there's a lot more Imperium kingdoms that are popping up, on the line and stuff for a lot of A's.
Our top 300 is sitting at 62, by the way.
Wow, Jesus, that must be so nice. Honestly, just like, so that was something that came up today. Someone had asked if they can bring in a sub account at like 58 million, and I was just like, let's wait. I would love to bring those accounts in because as they're useful accounts. If you know how to use them, and if you do use them, they're so useful. I would almost like one of my friends he's in 1079 now. Really good fighter. More or less like a really strong field fighter. But he's got like 14 farms that he can use to reinforce. Like I would almost rather a player who can like use those farms and the resources to go completely nuts in the open field, and then he can also reinforce like a madman, like someone like that over 150 million power player or like 100 million power player. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'd almost value a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends on the person in their account too.
Yeah, so you guys used your farms really well in that KVK.
That was our first time ever having to do that. That was the first time in 4 years of playing the game that I've ever had to like really hunker down and use my farms like that.
That's why your farms were stacked.
Yes, yeah. Since we're out and through this KVK now, let me ask, on that zone 5, did we at least put a little dent and kind of like what we needed to do? Like, were you guys using main accounts? Because obviously when you're rallying it's a lot harder to use farm accounts, but you guys owned open field. We couldn't do anything about it, so I know you guys had a big ball sitting there at times. Did we do a little bit of something?
No.
Overall,
we're
I think you guys probably dropped this like 200 mil power around there, but that's spread out across 300 people. So
true. So it wasn't much.
we were mostly trying to keep people back from doing stupid shit.
Yeah,
swarming, doing dumb stuff. Save it for later. Let this rally run. Should we cancel? Should we refresh? Going back and forth, and then mostly just trying to hold the kingdom back from wasting troops really early on.
Gotcha. Okay, so we were all kind of on that same wavelength to save it for the more important zones, because that zone, like, I was trying to consult one of my friends in 780. I was like, dude, like, don't go all out for this zone. It's pointless. There's like no reason for it.
right.
Yeah. So it's definitely a marathon, not a.
Yeah. That's with most of the zone 5s too. Like most of the starting zones, like you don't need them. You can just like, yeah, you're gonna get some extra goodies out of it. And maybe like heroic anthem with the the support skills. But I don't even think in Siege of Orleans, I'm not super familiar with that map. I don't think that zone 5 is really necessary either.
Well, Siege of Orleans, you've got 2 zone 5s you can go into, and you have to at least get through one of them in order for you to get into the next zone.
Oh, okay. So you do have to kind of push that a little bit. Let me see.
Yeah.
So we did nothing against you guys in zone 5. That's good to know.
I wouldn't say nothing. I mean, you guys, you definitely earned my respect. I mean, after you guys put up a front and stuff, and I saw you were streaming and stuff, and starting to talk to some of you guys in your kingdom and stuff, and sometimes there was some chill dudes, sometimes there was easy people to troll.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys put up the fight, and that was the cool thing. Like usually, like the Nile we did before, our bees that we had to fight didn't do shit either. They just they didn't want to fight. So that was kind of like my anticipation going in. And you guys surprised and got some good fighters and stuff. And yeah, we're just glad you guys fought. I mean, nobody wants to go into a KVK and not have a fight. I mean, that's why we're playing this game, is to have fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fights you can win, of course. Nobody wants to lose, but that's just the nature of the game.
One thing that I think is kind of funny is that you had 3 tiers of Imperiums in that one not Imperiums, three tiers of kingdoms in that KVK. You had Bs, you had As, and then you had 1 Imperium. So what we were to you guys was what 75 was to us.
Yeah.
Punching, everybody's punching down.
It's always a bigger fist.
What was
I mean, 75 is a true Imperium. Like, they are.
Yeah.
They're the top.
They honestly, like I've fought against Imperiums before, and I think from being in this lower seed for a little while, I think I kind of lost sight of how strong some of these true Imperiums can be. But I gotta say, they really impressed me against 2172, right?
Yeah.
In
they're
Kingsland,
solid. It's a solid kingdom too. 72.
Yep.
But they
were just overwhelmed.
Oh my god, yeah.
But the good thing is, I mean, every Imperium that we fought that was hard, even this fight too, like every time you take hard fights, you usually always learn something about your account, your kingdom, the leadership. Like the next fight shouldn't be that same, hard fight. Like after we had our last one, one of our hard KVKs, it was like the next opponent was nothing. I mean, that should be the same for your kingdom, I would imagine. Like, you guys fought some of the, we arguably, a strong A, pardon me. And then now the next guys you should go fight next, you'll be like, wow, these guys are a cakewalk. They don't have the great gear and stuff like that. And it's like, there's a little squishier. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to that for our kingdom in the next KVK too.
Yeah, especially with the new structure where you got set up.
So
that works out.
Are you guys cutting SK or MIP?
So we've already actually integrated. So S&G merged into SK.
Oh, okay. Oh.
And then MIP moved over. Because I mean, that's just how those alliances are mapped out. So where all of them are setting a shrine.
Yeah,
so we still have the mobility with MIP. If we need them to touch something, they can, and then we can put them on a front, stuff like that.
So you're actually, it looks like it's like 2.5, no? Or is MIP a lot of, no, because there's a Minecraft is over here. So you guys are like a 2.5-ish alliance kingdom.
Kind of. MIP is more the when we moved over here, it's the people that kind of stuck around here that were born in this kingdom.
Natives.
Yep.
Okay. Natives. There's some smaller players. There's a bunch of different players that are in there that are working their way up in the kingdom and stuff and figuring out the game and.
Yeah, when we came to 2293, all the people who were still here, we just incorporated them in so we could grow our depth a bit more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, to have these players is, I think, what like any kingdom wants, because this is huge, honestly. Like, because anyone can recruit whales, right? We can all snag our krakens and whales every now and then, but to have a core of people like this who put who are a little bit more casual, they don't mind being in not a top alliance, not chasing these gold chests and shit, that's honestly huge. Like,
yeah, look at our top 300. I mean, the 300th player keeps getting a little bit higher. We can get more people in underneath of them. So I mean,
yeah,
that's huge.
So with that being said, with you guys still kind of maintaining 3 alliances, right? So like, because obviously you have because MIP is, you need R4s there in leadership and whatnot, and you have SIP and then SK. How do you go about avoiding drama? Like, how do you go about avoiding, this alliance doesn't have enough whales, and why do they have this many gold chests? Because that's something that I experienced in the very early stages of this kingdom, and we've always played around with the fact of expanding out to a 2 alliance structure. But again, I think it creates more headaches, I think, than the benefits that'll bring to it. How do you guys kind of manage that ability to alleviate trauma in the kingdom?
So there is some. We don't exactly address it in a way such as like talking it out or anything. I do think it is kind of known. So like SIP is kind of the tip of the spear when it comes to 2293, and then SK is like right behind us on that, and everyone understands that. There's no gray area about it.
So I'd also say too that there's a lot of, like I said, leadership that has come here. I mean, after we've fought in KVKs, leadership comes over from like allies and enemies and stuff like that, and a lot of people just get past some of the petty stuff.
Yep.
Too. I mean, there's obviously needs and stuff from alliance base, but there's also like a kingdom focused council that it's just like, hey, yeah, this would be cool. Like, work it out. It is what it is.
One of the most important things that I think has helped gotten this core group through is that we've got a very kingdom focused council, and if we get some R4 that aren't really feeling that way, then it kind of gets beaten into them a little bit. Because if it's not good for SK or MIP, then it's not going to be good for the kingdom. Like it can't just be good for one alliance.
So you guys, it's pretty much like a total buy-in from your leadership group, in a sense. It's all kingdom. It's kingdom. It's not about this alliance or my alliance, or like, because we actually had that issue where there was well, Justin, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. Appreciate you, my friend. Much love.
The legend.
Hype emojis in the chat for Mr. Justin.
But I mean, there's always drama in kingdoms. I mean, there's some stuff that comes up. I mean, we all, in leadership at least, there's come across the same topics that get a little emotion from or whatever. But like, it's the same. It's every kingdom has the same kind of issues where it's either MGE stealers, or it's migration, or it's a new rule, or an event that's going on, or KVK. Like, they all kind of go through the same things, and I mean, talking it out, of course, is a huge thing. And then what are you focused on? Are you focused on KVKs, or focusing on restructuring the kingdom like all the time? Like, our blueprint that we brought over here, I mean, we haven't really changed a whole lot. I mean, every now and then there's a meeting about moving shells around, moving some sort of territory around. I mean, it's kind of the same stuff all around. I feel like every kingdom has a little bit of drama. Like, it just happens, but it just depends on how it's worked out in council.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Or kings.
Yeah. I'm curious to now maybe even present this to my team and be like, hey, since we have like almost, I don't want to say an excess, we kind of removed some of the unnecessary R4s, but our rankings are all messed up. But I mean, with I think we have in total 10 council members now since Archer stepped down, and then I think an additional 8 R4s. And we've been playing with the idea for so long, but I mean, if we're able to get our top 300 up to a reasonable amount, I would love to just have a stacked kingdom with like a really nice amount of depth that you guys have. I think that's super admirable what you guys are pulling off, while avoiding Imperium at the same time too.
Yeah, nobody wants Imperium burden. I mean, it's definitely something that I speak up about at every KVK. I'm always like, no migration, but of course we have to get some in.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I just don't want to be facing Imperiums all the time. It definitely is, kind of a big issue. And I do think that with the way the game is going too. I mean, we've been all playing for almost 4 years, and it seems like it's going to get more difficult too, more tedious shit to do. Like, having a kind of a decent council, big or medium, that knows what they're doing, you can kind of spread things out. Some people get time off, right? Because this is almost like a second job sometimes. It takes a lot of personal time. So it's good to kind of like, I mean, for me personally, I took last KVK off not this last one, but the one before that, I took off from doing council stuff. I just wanted to sit as an R3 and just, experience the game and, chillax a little bit. And it was great. I had a great time. Reminded me why I like doing it. And then I wanted to come back in for the last one and get involved again. But I do think people need to kind of little jobs here and there, and people have real lives that they need to do, and sometimes you've got to spread out the responsibility a bit. I mean, fuck, dude, you had to do like so many things when Kingsland opened. Like, you were doing murder balls, you were building flags, trying to field fight, trying to garrison, doing a live stream, like all that shit at one time. Like, that needs to be spread out.
Yeah.
You have, like, before each pass opening, we have like a leadership meeting, or like the big ones, and there's a job list of who's doing what. Like, this one person's only doing flags, this one person's doing markers, this one person, their only job is to drop the fort or whatever. Like, like it's all spread out between multiple people. Yeah, you need a good team.
Yeah, and we definitely do have that. I told them too. I dropped the ball on especially our Kingsland, where it should have been a little bit more detailed, I think, because we did have a meeting on it, but I don't think it was in depth as it should have been. But yeah, it's definitely tough. But having a good core team around you can definitely help alleviate some of that burden. But yeah, you guys got something really, really great going on.
I do think the one thing that we lack, and a lot of kingdoms, have lots of issues. I think I tried to do this last KVK. Is just like talking to all of our R4s and being like, hey guys, we need to rotate these long KVK. If we know we're gonna be going into like a day or two fight, like we need to. Hey, who's going to be on in the next 6 hours? All right, I'm going to go to sleep. I'll be up in the next 4 or 5 or whatever. Like, you got to constantly refresh some of these guys, because if leadership all goes to sleep, then everything falls apart. So I mean, that's something I think we're still working on, and I think this next KVK will try to do more of that, like properly, making sure there's always R5s and R4s, a few R4s, and people actually getting sleep. So I mean, if everybody starts getting offline, then that's disaster waiting to happen. You can tell people to go create chaos, but if there's no direction, then people just start fucking off, or they'll log on, see it's all fucking chaotic, and then they'll just log off.
Is there a main person for you guys who will kind of draw out the plans, be like, hey, this is what I think we should do, or what do you guys think? Is there like a main strategist for your kingdom, or will you all kind of like come up with something, drop it all on the table, and then kind of discuss?
We do have a map drawer. His name is Miz. When it comes to the planning and stuff like that, we sit in a voice call, and then it gets drawn out as we're discussing it.
Long voice calls.
Yeah, so like zone 4s, we really don't have to discuss that much, because
just let your main territory guy find the crystals and talk with the other kingdoms, and hey, this is what I got you.
Right. But from there, it can be discussed.
Count all the crystals, see what's going on, see the best path. We're all watching, usually him drawing, or and we'll go over. We'll make 2-3 maps and stuff, and kind of just toss out like everybody thumbs up this one, or thumbs up this one, or
okay.
And it comes down to like just having people in there to have a say, and which lane this alliance needs to go to, which side is SK going to be on, are they going to disconnect, all the important stuff. But yeah, Miz, huge on mapping. He loves doing it, loves doing the planning. I think a lot of us just join, to be honest, just to shit post and shit talk when it's going on. You missed a crystal there. What was the count? Can we get a recount on the crystal? Oh, that's the wrong color for that alliance, so we're gonna have to start all the way over again.
That shit last time. I don't want to be that color. I don't give a fuck.
You are now.
Bondi in chat is asking asking about Hamilton, the true king of 2293.
Oh my god. What about him?
I knew he was gonna get brought up.
He's my cat.
That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, when Maury falls asleep with King, sometimes I'll call him on Discord and the cat will pick up, and then I'll little pss, 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 go wake him up. the true King.
That's a cute ass cat, man. Great picture in your album, by the way. Just hard chilling, yo.
Oh yeah, he looks like he's high half the time.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
man.
our King.
Oh, please, Hamilton.
So I guess
What do you guys do? Do you guys do something similar?
So last KVK in Heroic Anthem, it was pretty tough. We had a few, I mean, we were 5 kingdoms in a camp, and this is CC'd, and we had like 3 out of the 5 camps, or maybe even 4. No, 3 of them were pretty much recovering, and just rebuilding. And no one really knew territory, so I pretty much kind of just took it upon myself and kind of mapped that out on zone 4. But to kind of answer that question, I kind of take the lead on that. I don't know, I think this is kind of like my
It's good to take the lead in those kind of situations with multiple people in your camp.
Yeah, so like
in my opinion.
So last KVK with 2305, like they were fucking awesome. Like they were
great kingdom.
They were just like us. Like they had their, everybody knew. Like we are the amount of communication I did from KVK4 and Heroic Anthem with those 5 other kingdoms. And shout out to, I think it was 24 Syriacs just played against them. Syriacs helped me out. You guys just lost to them. But I think it was, I can't remember the kingdom tag, but he just lost to them. Like they were really solid, but there was a few other ones where I'm just like, dude, are you kidding me? I'm like, we gotta have to do a little bit more than I thought we were expecting. But with 2305, like the communication was so minimal at times. I was like, this is kind of weird, but like
easy Diplo for sure on this one too. So
yeah,
and they're a solid team.
We really just didn't need to communicate that much, because we just, like, all of the players, all the R4's leadership just knew what we were supposed to do. So like this last KVK, I'm the main territory person, because we lost our territory people all throughout the development of the kingdom. KVK 2 with the Civil War, we lost our main territory guy. He was one of the dudes who actually kind of went on this rebellion. So from there, like I've never really done territory. I've had a somewhat sound mind for strategy and war planning and stuff like that, but like I really kind of just had to take the the bull by the horns and kind of run with it. And then in KVK 3, I did most of the territory planning and got some input from where I could. Archer was another one that helped me, and his brother Sosa. And then from there, it's just kind of been a thing that I've done. I do enjoy territory a lot, and kind of mapping out the zones, and also kind of figuring out the strategy and kind of what direction we want to do. But I do propose, and I think this is something I'm going to change, because I know for me, I struggle when I'm given something and it's like, what do you think? What do you think we should do differently? Because I'll see it and I'll be like, nah, everything looks good to me, man. Like, it's hard for me to generate thoughts when I already see something. So I think that's something that I'm going to maybe work to change a little bit, and rely on some of those war leads that I have to be like, hey, let's you come up with something map wise, just draw some fucking lines, colors, and all that shit, and then we'll all meet up in voice chat and we'll fucking discuss one day. I like that approach a little bit better for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've had to do a redo on a map when sitting there going, oh wait, this ain't gonna work, and we've already gone damn near the whole thing. So I mean, it definitely takes a couple of eyes to like see, somebody might see something you don't, for sure. I mean, I like I like doing the map stuff, but diplomacy is pretty cool for me. Other KVKs and stuff like that. I mean, this one was super chill. Like, there's really not much to go on or talk about, but the diplomacy part, I mean, I like meeting some new kingdoms and seeing how they do stuff, what software they use, as far as doing maps or how they track. I mean, we've met a couple of kingdoms that have some like their own apps and stuff for tracking the kingdoms and stuff.
Wow.
Really cool stuff out there. So it's kind of, I like to see how everybody operates, if that makes sense. Like how you know, these kingdoms kind of move around and, you know, make decisions and, you know, systems they use and stuff. Every kingdom kind of does something similar, but I mean, everybody has their own, you know, tweaks and stuff like that.
What do you guys use for like stats and data?
Rock boards through KVKs, and then what's it called, Rise of Stats for like, you know, day scans, or, you know, if we want to do a scan here or there.
Okay.
Shout out to Rels and Ghost.
Oh yeah.
Are those the data guys?
Ghost was, but yeah, but Rels is taking the reins, and
Yeah, it's not an easy job. I mean,
no.
I think if you're competent with spreadsheets and like formulas, because so we have one guy who does like pretty much all of it. Shout out to Bong, but he's like, he knows his formulas, like he knows how to work spreadsheets. So I think if you have someone who's competent with that stuff, it seems like a lot, but because he does
Reality
so much.
Yeah.
I think it's very simple for them, you know.
Yeah, for sure. It's the people that are on the other side that are asking questions, is the headache for them. They can do spreadsheets, make things turn green or red all day long, but when people keep asking, you know, like just dumb questions, oh, this isn't correct, or, you know, I've got, you know, I couldn't play all KVK, but, you know, I can log in and see that you gain power every single day. So we want to talk about that? Like, oh, you don't have anything on me, and it's just like, well, here's a spreadsheet of everything, all the helps you did that day. You know, here's all this stuff I can see that you did in one day, and then they're just like, oh, right.
never mind.
I have data all the way back to KVK1. So like, if any, like I had some people too, like they were illegal migrants, like, oh no, I've been here, and I'm like, all right, let me look up your governor ID. I'm like, dude, you've literally never been in this kingdom before, and then just fucking teleport down onto them, throw a rally on them, or swarm if they're small enough.
How many people do you usually track? Like, by track, I mean, like, you know, some of the farms and stuff. Like, or actually, no. Can you do two? Do like your actual fighters, and then like your what you counted for farms?
Yeah, so we actually have this last KVK, we started to get a registry of farms. So we sent out a Google form and people had to fill it out. So we used that to pretty much say, like, this was our first KVK of doing it, because we knew that we were going to be putting, you know, the strategy in place that we used against you guys. We pretty much put it in place, like, you have to use your farms, otherwise you're going to get penalized. Everyone started off with negative DKP to start. If you had farm accounts that were registered above 25 million or above CH25, I think we did 25 million, but we should have done above CH25. So we put that system in place, and it seemed to work pretty well. So we'll run scans on top 300 or top 350, because there's a few smaller guys who popped up in the middle of KVK that just were under top 300, but they still went in and, you know, threw some troops down for the kingdom, which is really nice.
Cool. I think we track 600, but it's definitely not 600 that are, you know, getting involved and stuff. You got some dead weights and stuff too, but I think, Maury, what do you think? We're at like 4 or maybe 5, somewhere around there. I don't remember the sheet at the moment. You've
around 450, and then when it comes to actual punishment and tracking, we go top 350.
350. Okay.
Because it's people who will potentially impact the bracket, or could have impacted the bracket at one point in time.
Yeah.
How strict are you guys on dead weights? Because obviously that has to be something that you guys do really well, especially with being as fat and deep as you guys are. And I guess there's a little bit of leeway too, because you only have to worry about who's below 68 million, which, holy fuck, if I had to do that right now, like, that'd be a godsend. But like, how strict are you guys with cleanups?
So
I hate cleanups.
we try to be as understanding as possible.
Hmm.
Obviously, if something happens or something's coming up, just let one of your leadership know so we can have it noted down and stuff like that. But other than that, you get one strike, and then after that, you're kind of done.
Okay.
If you're a competent person, we'll normally ask you to drop. But if you're someone who dodges us, we're gonna catch you, and Attila's gonna tear you up.
Or
So-
Charlemagne.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, he has popped out.
So let me ask this. So this is a scenario that we had, and I won't use names. So we had our KVK1 whale, hard carry, super hard carry. KVK2 did really well. KVK3 did okay, did good. KVK4 really fell off. And then it became a discussion of lack of commanders, newer accounts, but again, quite the whale. KVK5, and I think we had a discussion with him. KVK5, just, I think maybe worse than KVK4. Just talking with my counsel, I'm like, it's like, this is the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do, because he literally kind of won us a star, because I mean, you guys know how strong the KVK1 whale is.
Yeah.
And I was so torn. So like I finally sat down with him and we talked, and we kind of went through some things, and there's definitely some game mechanic things that he needs to learn, because I think he's past that point where spending can cover up the mistakes that he can make when it comes to, game mechanics and tactics and stuff like that. So we're going to be working with him on that. Gave him a pass, pretty much second one, but how would you guys have handled that situation? I'm curious.
Well, it's 2 strikes, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
3 strikes now.
It would have been 2. It's 2.
Okay.
So if they're legitimately having issues, we do work with we work with everyone who approaches us, asks questions and everything. We work with everyone. But if someone legitimately can't contribute to how much they weigh, then we ask them to drop to a point to where they can actually meet those expectations.
Okay.
For their bracket, yeah.
Yeah. So if the person is like 150 mil, but they can only perform at like 100 mil, and we're about to go into a KVK, we're gonna tell them you need to kill off a lot of power, because we need you to be within this bracket.
Interesting.
Definitely a hard thing to do, but I mean, you got to keep it fair for everyone in the kingdom.
Yeah, and it's explained to them that their weight makes it so that we're fighting tougher opponents, and if they can't carry that weight, then smaller players have to try and do it, and that's just not fair to them.
Yeah, that's where obviously, with sound kingdoms, like I think we can both agree that both of our kingdoms are pretty sound. Like we try to be as fair as possible. It was so damn hard. Like it was like the one conversation, and I wasn't thinking about it like throughout KVK, to be honest, but then we ran our data and our scans, and we got all this information, and I'm like, once it came up, I was like, God damn it, man, this is like one of the hardest things I think I've ever had to do. Like he literally like hard carried us in KVK1, and like he was on, and he's a little bit of an older guy too, like he was fucking grinding, man. And like it was just really impressive what he was able to do for us. So like it was so hard, but that's good to know. I think that
you still got to keep it fair. I mean, that's my biggest thing. I mean, I've fucked up in the past, and I've gotten a strike where I didn't meet all my deads, and I got my fucking warning, and I would gladly delete my troops too. I mean, maybe just because I'm in leadership, but like I know my worth and my weight and stuff, how it affects matchmaking. I understand that as a player. I don't meet it, or if I can't because I don't have speed ups or resources, whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna say I'll delete my troops. I mean, that might just be me. A lot of people hold on to the power too.
Yeah.
Power's not every fucking thing in this game, but I mean, it definitely affects this game as far as who you're getting matched up against.
Yeah,
the
key thing I think is kind of hitting the points as far as it's for the overall good of the kingdom.
Yeah.
So.
And
And the
as
kingdom focus is kind of hard to get through to people too. Like,
yeah, and especially newer players too who are trying to still get a hold of, you know, what this game is about. You know, it's like some of our players, like he's, you know, he's was kind of like an R4 in the beginning of the game, but like he's like just he's still in the chat and I know he can see what goes on. But like I know he doesn't actively engage in R4 duties, so it's like a new player who, especially a whale who doesn't have to log in all the time, is like the learning curve can sometimes be even more because you're just not engaged as much, you know, and you just have to learn the nuances of the game, you know, a little bit at a quicker pace because your impact is so much higher, you know, which can be unfortunate at times, but that's just the way that the game is now, you know.
yeah, that's the great when people buy accounts and they don't even know how to play the fucking game. And they
Yeah.
jump into a 70 mil account. Oh, I can't just attack anybody in the kingdom?
Yeah.
We've
Yeah,
had
bro.
that.
There's rules. Fuck around.
That's good to know though, to even just like it's so like the hard thing was too is like he wasn't like this like super fat player. He was fat-ish, but it was only like mid 90s, and it's like, well, how much, like if he's gonna pull some power down, how much am I really gonna ask him to pull down, and is it worth it? You know, I guess yes, it's more about being fair than is it worth it on the matchmaking end. And that was kind of like the dilemma that I was going back and forth between, because it's like, really, like if he's like a mid 90 million power player, like how much am I really going to ask him to drop? Because I know he can perform up to those standards. I think it's just he needed, and that this was kind of why I leaned to where I went, because he just needs to learn some of the mechanics a little bit more, you know, the marches and the pairings and stuff, because he does have some of the commanders and some of the meta commanders. He just needs to take some time and kind of shadow somebody a little bit.
Yeah, use them properly and everything, and
Count reviews and are really good.
They are, yeah. It's hard to get to take the time. Like I've done it a few times with even some of the smaller players, and like sometimes like I just get carried away and they go like an hour and a half, and I'm just like, I look at the time and like, god damn it, why did I just do that? You know, it's like we're just discussing like 3 marches worth of commanders, you know.
Easiest way is just get somebody to live stream in Discord and just like, yo, show me your account. Like, go through it. I do this, do that. You change this. You know, delete all of that shit. You know,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
true.
Yeah, all that.
why are you passively making bone? Why? What are you doing?
Yeah. Yo, the new legendary gathering beer.
Why do you have 10 sets of windswept and only 5 marches?
I gotta say though, I would love 5 sets of windswept for barb farming. That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
Eventually
I know somebody that has that. That uses it quite often.
Is it Mori? It's definitely Mori.
No, it's definitely not him. This man can't even log into a farm, jump out of a city and hit a barb.
I've got a farm, and it's
Real quick, just going to chat. This is from a little bit ago, but Bondi wanted me to ask, what is the I guess, ask about your nickname. The initials are PB.
Oh boy. He is a power bottom. There you go, Bond. Are you happy?
oh my
Sorry,
god!
not sorry, Maury.
I claim ignorance because I had no idea what that meant, and they just kept pushing it. So
Yo, he's like, yeah, sure, whatever, guys. Like, I don't know what this means. Oh my god.
Bond's one of our council members, and so he's just here to bust Maury's balls all over the place, pulling out all the dirty laundry.
I like it. I keep going to it.
Yeah, if he could post screenshots, this could go a whole different way.
Oh boy, yeah, that'll be a demonetization for two streamers getting demonetized in 2 days. I don't know if that's good for the community.
yeah.
Which we will at some point get into. I'll kind of speed it up a little bit. I don't want to go too long. I think I initially had this thought process of going an hour for these podcasts, but I just don't know if it's possible. I mean, you you guys tell me too. You can be straight up candid. But it's been an hour and 15, and I think we just had some really good discussions, and it kind of time flying a little bit.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I'll play good for a bit.
Yeah, all good, man.
All right, cool. So just kind of, I guess, touching on, this isn't kind of going in leadership, but we'll see where the direction goes. But with your guys' reputation as an Imperium killer, and again, not really trying to be super interviewy on this, but what was your guys' hardest KVK on some of these Imperium kingdoms?
Whoever made that meme about Imperium killing just needs to be drug around the back and back of the shed. And...
So I mean, apart from 1875, who was pretty tough, 1306 was definitely hard for us.
That's exactly my answer too, Mark. Go ahead.
Yeah, they were beasts, and I'm pretty sure they still are. Really high activity time, pretty steep downtime, but other than that, yeah, they're monsters out there on the field.
306, I think I remember them.
That is Peak and Reap.
Yeah.
Two Kingdom Alliance, gear depth. I mean, they were our first like really Imperium top 9, I think, at the time in Imperium, like maybe almost close to the top 5. Like they were up there. No, I wouldn't say top 5. I think they were top 10 for sure. But they were a brick wall.
They were
our allies that we had, I think, was 2308. They were, because we had 2 in our camp, and then I think it was 1185.
Yep.
And 1842. Shout out to them. They came through in Kingsland to help us out, but that was a fucking fight. That scared our kingdom, like legit scared our kingdom. Players were like, "Yeah, these dudes are botting. I'm getting melted, like the works."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the whole shebang. So, and then after that, we fought. Was it 2170?
Yeah, that was Mr. Winning Gaming, another Imperium.
Well, we didn't fight 1606. That was our ally wanted them, so, and we weren't really in a position to be like, no, we want them. So they're like, okay, you guys do that.
No, definitely some hard fights for sure, but that 06 one, that one sticks out. I mean, it was about 4 days or something like that in Kingsland.
Oof.
Back and forth, pass, back and pass, back and forth.
That sounds glorious.
Our allies literally, came in on one of our worst downtimes and was just kind of taking most of the, field away from pushing on us. And I was doing night shift, and it was like, I mean, I'm over on the East Coast, so it was like I was going to bed at like 6 p.m. No. I would go to bed at like 7 a.m. 7 a.m. or whatever, and then everybody else would come and take over, and I would do the night shift and wake up at like when everybody's going to bed at like 9 or 10, and then just tough it out. But like they came so close so many times. Like the people that were in those calls at the end of the night, like when they were at our pass and stuff, and we were trying to like push them back. I mean, we were fucking around, trolling, jumping out and hitting their flags that they were thought were just nobody in it. We would just destroy them and shit, like doing everything we can to like disrupt them and stuff. But it was just the one time where I didn't think we were gonna win, and then they just gave up. Like they just called it in, and that was it. I was like, holy fuck. And everybody else thought that was easy until they came to fight 75.
So yeah,
go ahead, Maury.
Well, the 1306 has like the complete opposite uptime of us, so we were all just dead tired from Zone 5 into Zone 6 into Kingsland.
Oh yeah, we fought them all the way to Kingsland.
Yeah.
So both those two kingdoms, 306 and 2170 that you guys had mentioned, at least 306 looks dead now. Not 306, I'm sorry, 2170 dead. Like holding Lost Temple right now is 5.9 billion, and then their secondary alliance is actually 7.8. 306 looks actually still intact, but they're not a 2 alliance kingdom anymore. They're a 1 alliance kingdom from what it looks like. But still pretty hefty, as I think most Asian and Chinese you know, kingdoms and alliances are, they're usually pretty hefty with spenders and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
a lot of the hardcore gamers in the Asian community for sure.
Oh, and they come out with force.
Let me see. Yeah, 12.
Seems like every time we fight them too, they're always on a holiday. They just beat our asses. I don't know what's up with that, but
Summertime holiday, wintertime holiday. What's up?
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
definitely strong Imperiums. And we've had a couple of good ally Imperiums too. I think it was 47, Maureen. Were they Imperium at that time?
Yeah, 1647 was Imperium.
Damn.
Yeah, they were a fucking monster to watch.
Yeah.
It reminded me of 93 for sure. I don't know where they're at now. I haven't viewed them in a little bit, but that was a monster kingdom.
I think they're actually. So one of my buddies is actually in 647. That's a Japanese kingdom.
Yeah.
Or Japanese Asian. I think they're allying with 875 in this. What is this? Siege of Orleans that's upcoming.
Oh,
I think
It's funny.
I think it's 875 and 647 versus everybody.
Good
We
luck
actually have a lot of we have friends, or we had friends that are in 47 that were friends with another Japanese alliance that we teamed up with in the past, and like they knew each other like personally, like two different people. Like kind of small world when you start playing with people. Like, oh yeah, you fought with them. Oh yeah, it's like like my neighbor or whatever. It's like, what
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, Ping.
Hey, yeah.
Good guy.
You can just see 647, 14 point. So how many Imperiums have you guys fought against in total? Seems like at least 5.
1, 2. I'm not gonna count 1606, even though we were in the same KVK, but 1306, 2170 was borderline.
Yeah, those borderlines. I don't know if they're really
that's
call
kind of
them
tough.
Imperiums.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, but I mean, everybody brags about it, right? In LKC,
Yeah.
That's the shit start fucking 101. Oh, they just hit Imperium, and then like one fight later they drop out of that that bar, and then it's like, oh, fucking fake Imperium, trash Imperium, hit him, get him. Everybody jumps on him. So it's definitely fun, but like they're not like real Imperiums.
Yeah, that was definitely a little thing that we had going on in our Lions chat and some of our folks in Lost Kingdom chat with 2172 for sure. That was like a nice little treat that we got when they hit Imperium.
high A's always get that shit. We've hit Imperium a couple of times too ourselves in 93. Shit. Yeah, but we're talking like KVK 2s and 3s and stuff, where it's like it's totally different fucking bracket,
Yeah,
but like the same harassment though that you would get. It was just like, oh, you guys dropped out. It's like, bro, we're an A. Like, who gives a fuck? So if you ain't in the top 10, like in the top, uppers, then like, no, that's an Imperium. Those are Imperiums. Everybody at the bottom, like all of us, we're all A's. Just tap in the water and then get abuse.
like actual action wise, 4 Imperiums, and then we've won against 3 of them.
Okay, then with this last one being like the first loss, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. What were your guys' thoughts in that Kingsland, by the way? Obviously, I think we were kind of duking it out for a while, and you guys were pushing our shit in, but you also had to deal with 2467 on the south side. You also had to deal with 1875, kind of almost on 2 fronts with J75, and then as soon as they came up with, I think it was W75. What was the feelings there?
You want to go, Maury?
Well, I mean, other than cursing at whoever did matchmaking, it was kind of we've got certain things we got to do. Block in the B's, and then we can alleviate some pressure, and then help push 75. That the bottom A should have never gotten that amount of territory that they did, and I do think that was one of the main reasons as to why we couldn't put as much pressure onto 75 as we should have, was because the enemy A was allowed to just spread out and then just dagger flags backwards. Because that Kingsland is so small that if you cannot get a foothold or anything like that, then you're just kind of done. Because you're just marching through the pass. You've got long march times. The less territory you have, the less likely you're going to win.
Yeah, so. And you mean 2467, the A seed on our side, right? They got a little bit too much territory than you guys wanted them to have.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And I think that's you know, attributed to the really good job that 2170 not 2172 1875 did. I mean, they ripped across the map horizontally. Like I couldn't believe when I zoomed out at, you know, a few hours in or something, and they were like across the zig and almost touching you guys at that point. I was like, that just changed. That changed everything.
Here comes the cavalry.
yeah. And it was almost like it was uncontested too. So I don't know if 2172 maybe had some faults with building, because I feel like 2172 should have been able. Yeah, they should have been able to build up and touch the zig and kind of at least set something up there, you know.
Yeah, there was we all had something that we didn't accomplish. 72 definitely had some building issues, getting out. They definitely got overwhelmed, and I mean, I give props to them. I mean, 7-2 had to take the brunt of all the hype coming out of that pass, so I mean that's no small thing. So, but overall, I mean, you know, definitely mistakes were made. You know, we didn't accomplish our goal, which was to link up with 72. So I feel like that, for me personally, that's like the biggest fault in the KVK. And I do believe, you know, hindsight, you know, it is what it's like. I don't think there's anything we could have done differently and still had a, you know, winning outcome. But I mean, I'm glad we, you know, kind of went through that hell. It was good to see, you know, our strengths and weaknesses that we had. Some of the communication that we ended up, you know, sorting out on the spot. I definitely think that we learned quite a few things from that, but we definitely get pushed in from all sides. And I mean, we just got rocked around, and we didn't link up with 72. They divided us up, and then they just, you know, went in on us. And then at that point, I mean, I do think we spent way too much time fighting you know, the bees in the north instead of, you know, addressing the threat in the south.
There was a lot of people in my chat that were actually saying that as well. And at the time, like, I didn't really have like any perspective on it, as because I was so like engulfed in and everything that was going on. But like looking back on it, I think I could probably agree with Yurpp, yourself, and some of the people who were in chat at the time. I think that maybe a little bit too much time spent on us, but I totally understand, because you were about a few flags away from just cutting us in. And I think there was a few times when we just had asked 2305, we're like, yo, just give us a few more flags. We need to just kind of keep expanding this a little bit more to buffer the time.
Yeah, I mean, we had heated debates. I mean, some people asked, like, was this the only plan? It's like, no. I mean, we were going at it, and, you know, and planning this invasion, where the ball needs to go and stuff. And it's like, there's not a lot of options that we all agreed on or could have accomplished. But I don't think the outcome would have been any different. Like, even if we would have pulled off of you guys, 75, you know, their third alliance or whatever was sending, you know, murder balls in to, you know, help your territory out, you know, and cover for you. So I mean, like that's like the play, right? In y'all's position, that's the play. So we knew it was going to happen. We knew we needed to address it, but we also knew that we needed to. Yeah, there were some communication issues on our side as far as like, you know, pulling everybody down. But I mean, I don't think that it would have changed anything, even if we would have pulled away. I think that, I mean, 75 just overwhelmed us. And as soon as we went and started going into downtime, I mean, it really hit. But
yeah, and your guys, I mean, your guys' downtime is kind of a little deep. I like to say. Are you guys?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You guys are mainly what, a U.S. and Euro kingdom?
Correct. Yeah. We do have players that are totally opposite, but I mean, I think in that scenario, I mean, nobody wants to log on and fucking lose, so, you know, people get on and see, oh, it didn't go fucking well, so I'm not gonna log back in. It happens. Happens in every kingdom.
And I mean, you learn more in the losses, you know, like people always had asked me, especially in the early days too, like in the whole KVK2 loss that we had experienced, Dan, what are we gonna do? What if people leave? I'm like, I want people, if people are gonna leave, I want them to leave. I don't want those players. Like we won our first KVK, we won a star, and now you're gonna leave after one L. Like leave.
Exactly.
Please leave, you know.
You know, I'll shit talk them on the way out. I love shit talking my own kingdom. It's easy. I've known these people for a while. Like, I totally understand that too, and it's just like, well, I mean, cool. Like, you can stay in the Discord for a little bit if you feel like coming back. You know, come on back. But if you want to leave off of one, then you know you weren't really loyal to the whole crew. You don't have to be, but like, you know, grass isn't greener on the other side, buddy. See ya. That's how I feel about that. But I mean, of course, people, you know, they want to ride kind of the wave, and if they want to go to a different kingdom, I mean, that's cool too. Like, go join with their buddies. I don't hold any grudges against people that want to leave and stuff. It's a game at the end of the day, right? I mean, we've all played games that we've played for a year and hopped off after you know, you lose too many times. So, for sure. Totally get it.
I gotta say though, this was probably my favorite KVK to just sit back and grab my popcorn and watch Lost Kingdom chat, because like it never got overly toxic. I would say like maybe like a few times I was like, oh shit, like this is getting like a little like intense, but like there was great banter all throughout KVK, and I
think Maury sent out the mail that said there was supposed to be no talking, no shit posting or anything like that. So we were following that mail to a T. I don't know who started shit talking first, if it was him or me, but
I saw a fair amount from both of you guys, and then very notably cheat codes in 2305 was a very good like shit talker as well. I think we had one small guy from our kingdom, a few small guys from our kingdom, which kind of most of the times is the case. But I mean, dude, there were so many times like we would be in a line chat, like, yo, Lost Kingdom chat's getting a little heated right now. We'd be like, yo, it's fun.
Yeah. I think it was cheat codes that kept trying to recruit me too. He's like, come to the kingdom, and people, they're like, you know, oh, it's gonna make him feel bad because I'm trying to recruit him. And then like as he got to know me more and more, he was like, yo, you're unhinged, bro. Like, don't come to this kingdom. we don't want you here, bro.
Never mind.
Yeah, we're saying some wild shit in LKC.
Oh shit, but I think it's all in good fun at times. Again, like I said, I never really saw anything that was like crazy like out there. Like sometimes it can get super toxic, and I think a few times I think it did, and I forget that there was a few key moments in our KVK where it had happened. I know on our end too, especially with the B seeds in those stupid little pocket zones where we fucking kicked their ass in like 5 minutes, 20 minutes or something like that. And then they had the audacity.
You guys went off.
And then they had the audacity. I came in heated, bro, because I'm like, yo, they're coming to talk shit on us, saying that we were carry basing. So I'm like, yo, 1v1 me right now, yo.
The audacity.
Oh my god. And then I actually saw, I forget the main player. They're actually in 960 as well. The one that triggered me. Damn it. There was
you guys couldn't take their passes and to get into their other zone. I was in LKC just fucking trolling y'all the whole time. People were getting so mad at me. But it was funny because it would be like Morningstar or Turtle. It would be just the normal guys I normally cut up with, and then they'd just be like, "I love you" or something like that. Like towards the end, like it was no hard feelings at all. Like you just fucking with each other. Some people get take extreme. I single those people out, but but no, what Bunny said the other day in that stream, he's like, stay toxic but be respectful. And I'm always like that. I always try to, honestly, I do try to be like that. I'll troll the fuck out of somebody, but then at the end of the day, I'll just kind of be like, GG, man. If they actually did, fighting and stuff, I'll give them props where it's due.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys definitely made the LKC fun. All the shit posting. Yeah,
I've never seen a Lost Kingdom chat where I had as much fun just watch, because usually I'll poke in on it and I'm like, oh, this is fucking stupid. Like people are talking nonsense, like you don't have to be bringing it to these certain places, but there was a nice banter that was going back and forth.
Oh yeah, it was definitely back and forth, because like when 75 had to come help you guys get through that pass and that went to, there was a whole lot of, oh, help me stepbrother, help me stepbrother, help me get through this pass. Hold my hand.
Dude, I didn't want to just because I knew that Lost Kingdom chat was gonna erupt, and I was really like, no, guys, we're gonna do this. We're gonna get through. But like you could just see the activity dwindling by the hour, and I'm just like, oh fuck, we're gonna have to do this.
Yeah.
Speaking on the
definitely
bunny,
some good moves.
speaking on the bunny topic, as we can kind of start to wrap this up a little bit. I don't want to go. We're hitting almost a 2-hour mark. So
Cool.
this is definitely probably one of the main topics within Rise of Kingdoms community right now. I missed the first half of it, so if anyone can fill me in. Speaking not as Bunny, but if you can give me the watered down version, I guess. Because I really don't know what happened the first half. But the second half, holy crap, was there...
Yeah, whatever you heard in the second half was probably a bit more so in the first half. And I'm just being very vague about it and everything because of everything that was said. Yeah, there's definitely some bad blood there, I think.
Mm-hmm. I watched it twice just to kind of get some more context from some of the stuff that Bunny was saying. He definitely came in hard, but Geese, I mean, he came in and just was, throwing the smoke out. I mean, he wanted all the smoke, so he definitely did that. The one point that was made that kind of hit me, and I think I said this earlier. We're all of the kingdoms pretty much go through the same shit, right? They're on a much higher level, and of course there's platforms, but I mean at the end of the day, I mean they go through some of the same shit as we do. The one point that he made was when they were talking about SW and HMB leaving, that they were wanting them to wait, and of course there's a lot of controversy of if that was the reason. People all have their opinions on it. A lot of people say yeah, but I can kind of see from his perspective, Bunny's perspective. He said that they dropped the video, and then on that day they had 3 meetings to go to, and we all know how long meetings are. And we all know how much information is going on. And it said that the way he said it, he sounded like he said an R4 meeting, maybe a leadership meeting, and an allies meeting, all in one fucking day. And then they dropped that video. So like in my perspective, like in leadership and stuff, like if our other alliance did that, or like in your kingdom, like if Morningstar and like half your crew or whatever did that, they drop a video or whatever. Like I've kind of put myself in that position, kind of see it, so I can understand. Like you got to go through the hassle of talking to all your R4s about that shit, getting off topic in leadership meetings, and then having to explain to your allies about no, we're not dipping in this KVK. We're still going to be here. And then I'm assuming they had to have a planning meeting too, or maybe that could have been one of the 3, like a planning meeting for the next zone, because they were going into zone 6 after that. So like the video dropped and they were going to zone 6, and then when zone 6 opened, like that was a really trashy like entrance into a zone. Sloppy, like they did not come in sloppy. Like Like what? I mean, I have friends in that kingdom, and they were like, "Yo, this isn't good. Like this doesn't look good. Forts were destroyed." Like it did. So like there was some breakdown in the planning where it didn't go good. I think like going into both those zones was somewhat of a good idea, but like definitely executed badly. So I mean, maybe the video and all the drama and taking up time in the meetings and stuff, maybe that just like backed everything up to like get the actual planning done, because the planning and shit takes a long time. But I mean, that's kind of my opinion. So I can kind of understand the frustration from some of those people like Bunny and Geese. So I can understand that at least.
What was the video? Because I try not to. I don't go really on other YouTubers. Like I'll go in and I'll drop likes on like people's streams and stuff. Like video and content wise, I try to stay away because I want to try and keep my stuff original, because I know I'll take from them. What is the video that you're referring to?
Their announcement, the KVK announcement that they're migrating from Chisel. Yeah. That video dropped when they had 3 meetings to go to that day, and it was an R4 meeting, an allies meeting, and I would assume a planners meeting or leadership meeting. So like all that in one day, and you have like that's a lot of stressful shit. To deal with at one time, and then you're getting blown up by everybody. So I mean, yeah. and they're on a platform, so like, yeah, it was definitely. I can see their frustration. And, I mean, definitely salty about it for sure. I'd be salty.
Well, what I personally think about it, I do think that there was some kind of talk about it way beforehand, because moving two alliances takes a while. So I do think that leadership within that kingdom was updated to a pretty good extent. Maybe the announcement was off a little bit, but when it comes to the actual planning and that stuff, it takes a while, and people are going to know about it. And I do think the leadership there did know about it for a while, and some bad blood came out of it. I could see how one side, Bunny's side, would be pissed off about it. I mean, who wouldn't be in that position? But on the other hand, you've got two alliances with core groups that they want their players to stay interested. They want their players to have more fun and stuff like that. You know, there's two sides to every coin.
No.
That's a really hard other side of the coin to try and explain through, though.
He doesn't have to either. Like, I was thinking about that today. Like,
of course,
totally up to him. Like, he doesn't have to even entertain it. Two guys that are leaving, like, okay, bro, cool, kick rocks. Like, I mean, he could technically do that.
I would love to know, though. I would love to.
Hell yeah, bro! That video drops or that live stream drops, I'm in that shit. I'm gonna get right in that live stream. You know me. I'm in all these live streams. I want the juice. I like the drama and shit.
Oh my god, that I don't think, dude. Because honestly, everything that's been going on, and I gotta commend Chiz to an extent, because a lot of the fucking hate and trolling and shit that he's probably been getting, especially since this podcast dropped, which had at one point almost like 1K viewers, and it, like, a lot of people were hearing this shit.
I was spamming these guys, my boys. I was spamming them like, yo, get in and listen to this shit.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I was like, I hopped in, I was hungover as shit. I got home at 5:30 in the morning. The night before, I had like 2 hours of sleep. I was eating my pizza. My buddy Ray hit me up, and he was like, yo, you need to fucking listen to this. I was like, holy shit, I totally forgot what's going on. And as soon as I listened to like 5 minutes of it, I opened up Rise of Kingdoms. I was like, yo, who else is watching this shit right now? Because I was like, I just wanted to talk to more people about it, because it was so juicy. But yeah, dude, if that happened to me, if I was in Bunny's position, I would be so tight. Like, I would really, like, honestly, I think so, in my personal opinion. And Bunny probably won't fucking entertain it. He probably doesn't give a shit anymore at this point. But at the very least, I think, like, as a good person, I won't say as a man, Chiz should at least go to the leadership 254, like, hey, here was my thought process on doing this. For me at least, I would have to be like, yo, I'm sorry, I fucked up. That was stupid timing. I should have done it at a different time. Or here's my thought process on it. That's just what I would do. But I feel like that's at least owed to, maybe not Bunny, because he's done. Like, he doesn't give a shit anymore. But to some of the leadership, if anything, you know, because again, and he knows firsthand of how much work goes into this shit, you know.
Yeah.
Like, he went to 254 like with the intentions to step back from the leadership position that he was in 1075, and to just kind of, you know, throw a knife in the back like that on that timing is kind of like it. I feel it owes some kind of an explanation and some kind of like a, you know, like my fault type deal. But that's just me. For me, like, I'm still on the side that it takes a lot to coordinate two alliances going, and there's no way it flew under the radar until then. So I don't like, ignorance of the situation, I don't think was a thing. I really don't. It took a lot of planning for us to move SIP into a younger kingdom, but to move two whole alliances over, that's a lot. Like, that's it. Like, even on a member basis, everyone would know, because everyone's getting passports and everything. And yeah.
Preparing to move over, they got to get rid of resource, like everything. So this wasn't dropped on a dime, I don't think.
So
I
they're
think,
that's
yeah.
that's a great point, because now now, with that being said, that is an amazing point, Maury. There's accountability on both directions. Why wasn't it addressed to this group that was planning to leave? You know, and why wasn't it situated throughout the kingdom, you know, going forward into this KVK, you know, instead of having this kind of quote unquote piss poor showing, you know?
Yeah,
What the hell? It makes for some good content, though. Like, I'm enjoying this shit.
I do think to a degree that everyone was kind of checked out at that point, anyways. So
Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is.
we have an inside man, Hunky, said their own members didn't know, and they wanted to leave their dead weight and not take the trash with them. Interesting. Okay.
Well, I mean, a good amount of players did migrate over, so a lot of them did know.
Yeah.
So,
Ruz claimed to not know, which is probably, yeah. But I remember Bunny mentioning that Ruz had no idea in that whole bit, and I think he was the first one to kind of announce to everybody before the video, I guess.
Yeah, that is fucked. When I heard about that, and basically the fall dude kind of taking the heat for it or whatever, that's pretty fucked. But maybe Ruz doesn't. I mean, Ruz usually doesn't seem like the guy that gives two fucks anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, and kind of I don't want to say the collapse or the downfall, because my man Hunky's still there and he's an acting king right now. With this 254 kind of disassemblement, where do you think the game is going now, and how are we going to be approaching this going forward, especially with talks of doing a top 300 registration for matchmaking? Obviously Imperiums are on the decline, we know that, we kind of touched on that earlier.
I think you're going to see a lot more to Alliance Kingdoms. So some Imperiums are not going to break up. Like, I don't see 365 breaking up. They're like top.
Yeah.
But other than that, I do see Imperiums breaking apart and becoming 2 Alliance Kingdoms. So I can definitely see the A bracket getting a lot bigger. And a lot more competitive at the same time.
Interesting. Yurpp, any thoughts?
Yeah. I can agree on that. I still think there's going to be quite a few that, you know, top 10 for now are probably going to stay the same. I would say after this, you know, not this KVK that we're doing right now, like at least not like a kind of a time frame. So like, you know, maybe 3 months from now, maybe we'll start seeing like actual changes. I think. What Maury said though is spot on though. It's going to be interesting to see what new kingdoms are coming up for sure.
Yeah, I'm super curious now, especially since we're making the decision to jump into an A seed, but we're not going to go with a 2 kingdom format. We kind of want to try and build, again, I kind of mentioned it earlier, but kind of build like a mini 60 GT in essence, and try and look for really solid players, VIP 18, you know, these guys who don't, you know, have an issue maxing tech, you know, in and out of KVKs. So
yeah, the funny thing Bunny that he said, because a lot of people now are saying, you know, everybody's trying to do the 1960 GT model and stuff like that, you know, he said that everybody needs to stop saying that because there can only be one 1960.
Oh, absolutely.
And I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
But I'd say definitely go with the one Alliance based.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be.
I know you didn't watch that part of the video, but yeah,
no, I did.
Shit if you keep saying that.
I did see it, and I'll
okay.
And I'll continue to say, you know, again, we're not going for the true 60 GT model. We're going to be like a mini 60 GT. And I mentioned this in our meeting today. Like we have to figure out how intense and how of a min-max approach we want to take on pulling pure max tech players, and then also bringing in, you know, kind of those referral players, I like to call them. I think we have a great community in 2581, albeit, you know, we're just one alliance, but I feel like we have a really solid community of players who enjoy hanging out with each other, having banter. Like we have a lot of, you know, voice interactions and whatnot with each other, you know, and it also comes to the point too that I kind of mentioned and brought up earlier. It's like, well, we're like, how far do you want to take it from approach of taking in max tech players who might not need farms and, you know, other things of the sort. So like, are we going to be focusing on bringing in 95 million power max tech players, or do we want to bring in a 75, 85 million power free to play player who's really good in the open field but has like 10 farms that can stuff flags for us? You know, I think that the trade-off there is, you know, you're kind of getting to some kind of equivalence. So there's definitely going to have to be some kind of balance that we'll achieve, and we have to really figure out how hard of a push we're going to take on really restricting migrations. And I preface this all in our meeting earlier today. So mini 60 GT approach, not a true 960 setup, because I agree. I've kind of played in that kingdom for a little bit. There's almost nothing like it. I mean, they're so deep in spending. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, they're a breed of their own, for sure. But I mean, for your kingdom, you just gotta find out what type of kingdom you want to be. You know, what kind of people you want in there, and then you know, just stick to it. Then just ride whatever wave hits you.
Pumbaa in chat saying everyone trying to copy the 960 model, but the budgeted 960 just don't work. Well, maybe I'll prove you wrong. We'll see. And if I can't prove you wrong, then we just pivot. So whatever.
Yeah, there you go. It's all part of the plan.
Yeah. I got my PR guy giving me notes before I come onto these pods, you know.
There you go. You clicked on the video, bitch. There you go.
Oh man, guys, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you. I want to just open it up real quick for anyone in chat if they have any questions for Mori, if they got any questions for Yurpp. Appreciate you guys so much for coming on. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, everyone in chat. Hit the like button on your way out. If you guys have not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. It's all totally free. And just want to give a quick shout out to my man Sao, who subscribed a little bit earlier in the stream. So any questions for our 2293 fellas? And if not, then we're gonna fucking close it up and jump into the work week, unfortunately.
Yeah, Minecraft, we talked about you, bro.
Accept my FR form so I can add you to Fight Club. I'm in Fight Club, Nugget. I just don't talk. I don't chat in there too much. Bondi, who's your favorite council member? Mori.
Who's my favorite council member? Me? I mean, I'm not gonna give him that gratification.
Spoken like a true dictator. GG, Mori.
And then Ray says Yurpp. Let's go to a Celtics game. He's a Miami guy.
That might not happen. Yeah, that might not happen, bro. I appreciate the offer.
Bondi, what the fuck? All right, so it looks like no questions. Yurpp, Mori, appreciate you guys again. Any closing thoughts for the pod?
No.
Open floor to you guys.
Oh, bro, let me tell you, 81. We've gotten the zig at the end. I'm just saying, y'all got the data to back it up. 75 didn't need a fucking star, bro. Like, I mean, y'all could have worked it out. Like, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I appreciate it.
I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, definitely think you guys are moving in a really good direction. You guys are very solid Bs. And if you guys stay like that and you guys move into the A bracket and you still perform at that consistent level, you guys will be a force.
Yeah, man. Just get better at building flags, and then you guys will be a solid kingdom.
I'm passing that on. I'm passing off that duty. I've come to the conclusion that I cannot do that and stream and put markers down and all that other shit at the same time. So I'm taking your advice here.
I'll just give you shit, bro.
Oh shit, I appreciate you guys. Chat, everyone, love you guys. Thank you for the support. With that, for Yurpp and Mori, we're out. Take care. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.
Later.
See you.